Hello guys, and welcome back. The name is Sihlang. Okay, I've received request to try to explain this problem, right? The first thing to do would be for you to understand the program or the problem. I'm sure that everyone understands that you are requested to write a pseudocode, right? Now, to represent a program that accepts a student's mark, it will accept what? A student mark, which means the student mark would be what? An input, and use a boolean expression. A boolean expression can be true or false, 1 or 2, right? I'm sure that you know what a boolean expression is from your notes, right? Now I'll move on to determine the student's grade. So there are 4 grades. One is fail from 0 to 49%, and the other one is pass from 50 to 74%. The other one is a distinction from 70% to 100%. Now, those who fail will get a 10% increase on their NSFAS loans. Those who pass get a 15% bonus on their loans, while those with distinctions get a 20% bonus. Now, note the following. This is very important. The program is written using modularization. Right. Modularization is a process of breaking down a large program into sub-unit or sub-modules, right? You know that. And has the following 2 modules plus the main module. What does this mean? And has the following... No. Where were we? We were here. And has the following 2 modules. Right. 2 plus 1 is equal to 3, which means it will have 3 modules. It will have the first module accept student marks, right? The first module will accept the student mark. One can quit the program by entering 0. So the first module will accept the student mark or an option to quit, right? Which is like a dummy value or a statement, an end of file statement. Now, the second module evaluates the captured mark. The second module will evaluate the captured mark and print the message, right? If the student has failed or passed or distinction, so it will print what? These messages. Now, the first thing to do would be for you to write an IPO chart, which will help you understand what is the input, process, and output, right? But before we go there, we are told that to note your program must use ranges and either the and or not. Ranges, I'll show you what ranges are. Don't worry. Now, this is our IPO chart, right? We understand that the input will be the student mark, right? And the student, if the student is using the system, will have options whether to enter his mark or to quit. So it will have what? 2 inputs, the student mark or the quit option, right? Now the process is, this is the ranges, right? Now the mark will range from 0 and 49. As you can see, mark greater than or equals to 0 and mark less than or equals to 49 is the first statement, is the first grade. This one for fail up there. Now the second one would be mark greater than or equals to 50 and mark less than or equals to 74. Then the third one is mark greater than or equals to 79 and mark less than or equals to 100. These are ranges. It will range from 0 and 49. It will range from 50 and 74. It will range from 75 and 100, right? We used what? The and range, not the or not. We use the and range. If you want to find out what is the or and not, you can refer to your notes or something, right? Okay, what will be our output? Our output will be the grade. Remember, the system must what? Compute the grade. So it will compute the grade, determine if the mark which is entered by the learner is fail, pass, or a distinction, and also display the messages. These messages will be what? The output. So now we're gonna start by explaining the program, right? This is the program, that the pseudocode. Now you know that the pseudocode always start with a start, then the declaration, then we are declaring among variables, right? Num, student, mark, because the student mark is going to be a number, so that's why we written num, so it stands for number. String, grade. String stands for a text, right? Now the grade is either fail, pass, or a distinction. Those are the grades. That's why we refer it to string. And then the num quit. This is the option to quit. Remember, they said that in order for the student to quit, I must enter what? O. There we go. There it is, you see. And one can quit the program by entering O. So this is the initialization of what? Of the quit option. This one is the initialization of the grade, the initialization of the mark. Now the module. Remember, they said we must write the program using modules. So the first module will be the student mark, right, with parentheses at the end to show that it is a module. And then this is the decision making process, right, whether to quit or enter the mark. So while not, this symbol stands for not equal to 100, right? While not equal to 00, which means while not equal to quit, because 00 is equals to quit, remember? Yes. What am I doing? This stands for what? Quit. So while 00, while not equals to quit, then this will evaluate. This program will take place. But if it is 00, then the program will come to an end, because it makes a decision to quit or not to quit. Then evaluate, display. Then this is where it will calculate and display the grade of the learner, and then stop the program. It's done. Now we're gonna write this program, this module, student mark. So we're gonna write it right here. Now this is the student mark module. Now the first thing it will do, it will output. This program computes student grade, right? And then the next output will be based on the mark entered. Remember, you have to enter the mark in order for the system or the program to compute what? The grade. Now once all of these are called what? Prompts. They are going to be displayed on the screen or monitor of the user. Now then the next one would be, please enter student mark or O to quit. So it gives you an option. It's either you enter the student mark or you quit, right? If you choose to quit, then it will quit. But if you choose to enter the student mark, then you will input what? The student mark. Then the system will accept your student mark. And then this sub module, remember, this one is just a module, right? It's like a function or a module. It will return to the main module, right? This is the main module. This right here is the main module. right? And this is the sub module function and so forth. Now we are going to the next module. Now, this is the other module, evaluate display. Now remember, we have already determined what our processes are going to be using the IPO chart. These are going to be what? Our processes. Now we come to evaluate display module, and we code our processes. Now if mark greater than or equals to 0 and using the ranges, remember, mark less than or equals to 49, then grade is equals to fail. As you can see, look right here, you see from 0 to 49 is fail. Then the grade is what? Is fail. Else, if mark greater than or equals to 50 and mark less than or equals to 74, then grade is equals to pass. Else, if mark greater than or equals to 79 and mark less than or equals to 100, then grade is equals to distinction. Wait. Let's say the user entered 30, right? So where is mark here? There will be 30. 30 greater than or equals to 0. Yes, it's greater than. Both this statement must be true in order for these to execute or be true, right? Now here there is 30 greater than or equals to 0 and 30 less than or equals to 49. So it's true, 30 is less than 49, right? Then grade is equals to fail. Then the learner has failed. So which means that every mark which will be entered will come here, mark will come here, and the system will evaluate if that mark is greater than or equals to 0, evaluate if it is less than or equals to 40. Both these statements must be true in order for this to execute, right? And then it will come here again. Let's say we entered 51, so it will put the 51 here and then evaluate it or process it. Is 51 greater than or equals to 50? Yes. And 51 less than or equals to 74? Yes. 51 is less than 74. So it will output this grade pass. But if there was 30, then it was not going to execute this statement, because 30 is not greater than or equals to 50. Yet it was going to execute this statement because 30 is greater than or equals to 0 and 30 is less than or equals to 49. I hope that you understand. The mark which you will enter will come and be evaluated in all these if statements one by one, and then where it is correct or where it is correct is, then that statement is going to be the one which is executed. Once the marks have been tested and evaluated, or let me explain this. Since this is an if statement and this is an if statement, this is an if statement, this is the opening. You open the if statement if mark greater than or equals to 0, then you open another if statement if mark is greater than or equals to 0, you open another if statement if mark is greater than or equals to 0, right? All what is opened must be closed, right? You opened how many if statement? 1, 2, 3. Therefore you need to close all the if statements. Now we close them. 1 is closed, 2 is closed, 3 is closed. Now this is the output. It will output what? The grade. First output grade. As I made an example that if there was 30 here, right, 30 is greater than or equals to 0 and 30 is less than or equals to 49. So it was going to output the grade, which is going to be fail here. It will output because the grade here is cause to fail. After having the mark of 30, remember the student will enter the mark. The grade will be what? Will be failed. Then the message, you have failed and now have a 30% interest. And then the next one, if you have entered 60, then it will evaluate this system. Then the mark which will be evaluated by this if statement will be greater than 50 and less than 74. The mark which the learner is going to enter will be greater than or equals to 50 and less than or equals to 74. So if you enter 60 or 65 or whatever, as long as if it will range from 50 to 74, then it will output this grade pass here. The grade will be passed and this message, you passed and now have a 15% bonus and so forth to this one of the distinction, and then it will return to the main module. I hope that you understand and you'll be able to do the other program, because your question needs you to do two programs. The first one must be a boolean expression and the second one must be a nested if statement. So in order for you to get the 50 marks, you must write two programs, not one but two. And remember, you have to use modularization here, and it is supposed to have three modules, two modules plus the main module, just like I did. I have the main module plus two modules, and you must use ranges, and they have given you options to choose. You use the and, or not, and we used what? And. There it is, we use the and range. Thank you for watching and I hope that you understand. See you next time.